Transformers of Eternia.
You're watching Transformers of Eternia. Now today I want to talk about the Transformers 1 movie release, and I went to see this thing not too long ago, so I just kind of want to give my review on this thing while it's fresh in my mind. But before I do that, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. And thank you for checking out my channel. Now back to the show. The movie is it's better than I thought it would be. I'll give it that, okay? So I just wanted to kind of give my review as a Generation 1 original Transformers fan. I'm not going to give any spoilers in the beginning here. I will let you know when there's spoilers so that you can tune out if you haven't seen it or if you're just not interested, whatever. So spoiler-free review of this thing. I just want to say that the commercials don't do this justice, really. The commercials kind of make it into this goofy kiddie type of movie, which it is a kid's movie in a sense. I mean, they did do it using CGI, and they just kind of did throw some comedy in there and stuff, and it just kind of kept it aimed at a younger audience. But if you watch this movie actually as an adult, it starts off, yeah, it kind of has some kiddie stuff in it, but it really doesn't play to the kids as much as more or less teenagers, I think. And so you kind of watch this thing and you're just like, well, it seems it's kind of funny, whatever, but a lot of the jokes were in the commercial, it seems like. So you don't really, it's not like you're getting anything really special new or whatever with the jokes or whatever. And it's not like hilarious, like you're dying, laughing, but it's funny enough to where you enjoy the movie, okay? And you get to meet the main cast or whatever. The main cast being, I got a list here just so I don't mess it up. D16, which will become Megatron, obviously. That's not a spoiler. Everyone knows that. Orion Pax, which would become Optimus Prime. Once again, not a spoiler. Everyone knows that. He even looks like Optimus Prime in the trailer, so... Anyway, Elita 1 and B127, which is obviously Bumblebee. So you get that cast. That's a kind of a good mix. And the voices, the voices are okay, but they're not great. Chris Hemsworth trying to play Optimus Prime. He does go from a Chris Hemsworth voice in the movie to a more Optimus Prime voice near the end. And like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but obviously he has to go through some kind of a transformation in order to become Optimus Prime, clearly. So, voice as well, I think. So anyway, you get that, and you get I don't really care for the Bumblebee character in this movie. Unfortunately, they had to make him talk a lot. And they made him kind of annoying in a lot of ways, but he didn't really bother me that much. At least he had a voice. I'll give it that, okay? But it's only a matter of time before the producer of this movie, Ventura, whatever his name is, the last name is whatever. Anyway, it's only a matter of time before he comes out and says, oh yeah, we're going to tie this into the Michael Bay universe, because he does this in every single movie that comes out for Transformers that he produces. He tries to bring it back and tie it into the Michael Bay universe in some kind of way. So if that happens, I already know what part 2 to this movie will be. Bumblebee loses his voice. And then they put the little plug in his mouth, because that's how he looks in the movies anyway. He looks like he's got to just plug in his mouth. That's probably why he can't talk. But anyway, so I just think that producer guy just needs to go away. Just go away. This needs to be a whole new, different universe, different everything. Okay? And this movie, though, like I said in the non-spoiler part of it, it's really not... It doesn't follow the Transformers cartoon canon to a T. It kind of mixes and matches like most of these movies nowadays do, which is kind of annoying in some ways, but it's also kind of makes sense in other ways when you see it on the screen. So that's actually kind of cool, although there was some kind of stuff that I kind of wish that Megatron would have gone through to become Megatron the way that what he did in the comic book a little bit. So I don't know. It's whatever. It's take it or leave it. I think they did a great job on the movie, and I really think that this movie is very underrated, and I don't think that people are going to see it enough, because when I went to see this movie, there was like 7 people in the whole theater. I actually went there early because I thought this thing would sell out, because it seemed like everybody was online is like loving this movie, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty popular. So I went there early, and of course I'm sitting there and I'm like, nobody really comes in. A family with kids here and there, and a couple just adults, and it's like, this is it? That's all? I'm like, wow, this sucks, because Rise of the Beasts, that movie, I don't know, I can't remember how many people went to see that, but I feel like that was more. And it's like, so this movie doesn't get people don't want to see it because it's CGI animation or something. I don't know. And I think, like I said, the commercial I don't think really does it justice, really. I think that they should have showed more of the gritty stuff in the commercial, because this movie does become more adult almost. Not like it's got an agenda in it and is pushing anything that's like really shocking or anything like that. It's just, it's got a lot of violence toward the robots, obviously. So you're gonna see a lot of this stuff where you're like, holy crap, did he really do that? And they actually give time for, if a character dies, they take time. They don't make a joke afterward. Marvel, that's what you do every time. So they don't actually make like the characters have no meaning. And this movie also, I noticed, has, if characters are dying, it doesn't have the Michael Bay thing where their head just pops off and rolls or whatever. Or their head pops off and Bumblebee kicks it or something. You know what I mean? This doesn't have that, which is great, because actually when Transformers die, there's some weight given to it, instead of it being just, ha, his head popped off. Isn't that cute? It's like, really? So they actually treat the Transformers as if they have character. And I like that. I really love that. So I understand Transformers is kind of cool when it's on Earth, because they turn into Earth vehicles and everything. But the people who make these movies cannot understand the Transformers properly, because they think when it goes to Earth, that means it's all about humans. No, it's about some humans working with a great deal of Transformers, a lot of Transformers, because it's called Transformers in the name. It doesn't say transhumans, it says Transformers in the name. So these movie studios, they need to understand that if the movie is about Transformers, can we have it be about Transformers more than the humans? Because it's their story, not the human story. If we want a human story, then I guess we'll get the G.I. Joe movie, huh? But I know that that's what they want to do next, is the G.I. Joe Transformers movie, and they want to rush that out, when I think that this movie, they should just do a sequel to this. Because I think this costed less than the live action movies, and I think it's more true to the characters and the story of these characters. Whereas the movies, they tend to change characters completely from what they look like in one movie to another, and it's basically, hey, this guy has to look like a goofball because kids are watching this. It's like, no, you don't have to tone down the characters because you have to have some dumb character like Jar Jar Binks popping up all over the place. No, you can actually have the characters and take them serious, and there can be some jokes, yes. But you don't have to make, I'll just say it, Wheeljack into a doofy looking nerdy idiot that doesn't even speak English or whatever, that suddenly has to be this whatever that turns into an opposite vehicle of what he looks like even. And then, in one movie he looks like Wheeljack exactly, and then the next movie he looks like Goofball. It's like, why do you have to do that? You just can't make these characters look consistent. Anyway, enough of my gripes, because I'm sure someone's going to be crying about that because they like it when that happens or something. But anyway, my point is just take the characters serious. There can be jokes in the story. But getting to the spoilers, now that I've talked forever, this is the spoilers now. So please turn it off if you have not seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled. I am warning you, this is gonna be spoilers, okay? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going into spoilers. You've been warned. Okay, so in this movie, you get to see how Optimus Prime progresses from Orion Pax, obviously, to Optimus Prime, and D16 goes from, obviously, a young, more positive version of Megatron to becoming Megatron, you know, and that's interesting and that's cool. And I think it's kind of a little irritating that they decided to have Alpha Trion play lesser of a role in this movie than with Optimus Prime, and kind of him and Optimus Prime, you know, him kind of mentoring Optimus Prime. And it kind of sucks that they had the 13 primes in this movie, but, you know, somehow Megatronus, or the Fallen, is just kind of left as, you know, as just one of the primes. It's like they don't even address that he was the one that's kind of like the Satan version of the Fallen, or one of the primes, like he's the evil one. They don't even really address that at all, really. I mean, besides Zeta Prime having his transformation cog put into him, basically, they don't really give you an idea that the Fallen was evil, even though he had the Decepticon face on as his face, like the logo. So it's like, what is... Okay, I wish that they would have fixed that a little bit. So those are my two biggest gripes. Is Alpha Trion should have been more of a role model, like a mentor to Orion Pax, and Orion Pax should have... normally in the story he would get hurt really bad from Megatron or whatever, yeah, and then he would be taken to Orion Pax, and Orion Pax would fix him up, and he would become then Optimus Prime. In this movie, they did it all different. They got Alpha Trion gets killed, which sucks, and then when Alpha Trion gets killed, there's obviously he's not going to be fixing Optimus Prime when he's broken. But then Optimus Prime does get hurt from Megatron, just like similar like the way he did, to where he's unrepairable and he's basically going to die. And then Orion Pax falls into the core of the planet, which is Primus and the 13 ghosts of the 13 primes, which really kind of once again bothers me, is the Fallen there in that heavenly place that they go to. And if the Fallen is there, then what is the deal? Is the Fallen, is Megatronus a good guy now? That's kind of weird, okay? That's like saying Satan is the good guy now. That's weird to me. But then you get, obviously, Optimus Prime in this big positive moment. I really love this moment. I'm really jumping ahead, too. But this was like, the heroic moment is actually kind of emotional. I can't believe it. A CGI movie actually captures the emotion of Megatron and Optimus Prime, and how they were friends, and Megatron turns on him. It's kind of like Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of situation, where you're like, wow, this guy literally just turned on him. Oh man, this is just cold, you know? And then it's like, I just think that's so cool. But aside from all that, obviously he becomes Optimus Prime. You get to see how that all works out, and he sends Megatron away. And then, of course, the Elite Guard is in this, and they are Starscream, Shockwave, Soundwave, and all the other Seekers and all that stuff, which is cool that they just kind of... I think that's kind of cool how they were there, and they were just kind of hiding out, and they were like the rebellion against Zeta Prime, who's basically the whole government, and he's selling them out. So it's like obvious, it's cool that there's this rebel movement that just happens to find them and stuff. Anyway, I'm kind of throwing things together, just little things that I think of on the fly. So it's not very coherent. But anyway, the Quintessons in this movie, that's another gripe. First off, they don't really look like the Quintessons. I get it, they want to change them, make them more alien looking. That's not like a bunch of faces or whatever, but they could have had like the high commander of the Quintessons or something show up, and he's like looks like a regular Quintesson like we are used to in the original cartoon, which he has the 5 faces and he has tentacle type hands and he kind of floats in the air. I wish they would have done that, because that's a little more, that would have been at least giving a nod saying that these quintessons you see in the movie are just kind of like their army characters or something. But you get that. You get Arachnid or whatever. She's like the guard, like the high guard commander or whatever for Zeta Prime. Zeta Prime is cool. He doesn't overdo it. He's not goofy. I mean, I thought they were gonna kind of make him really egotistical, like he was in the animated series, but they kept him kind of grounded and kind of, you could kind of see why he did what he did. And I mean, he basically killed all 13 primes, and then he basically sold out to the quintessons, and he's basically making a bargain so he can stay like in charge of Cybertron. And then he steals all the transformation cogs from the miners, so that he can just have them mine forever the energon. So anyway, it's kind of cool. They did a good job with a lot of the story, and it really made a lot of sense, and it really kind of fit well together. I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that they did, and just the way that they evolved the story. This movie technically I think should have been longer, because I wanted to have more like of Megatron, of D16 becoming Megatron. Like I would love to see like a gladiator fight where he kills just, other like in a gladiator type of fashion. I want to see him actually gain respect by the elite guard at least, or something, somehow in some kind of gladiator fashion, like in the comic books. I guess that's what he does. So it's like, that would be kind of cool to see him go from that. But they had to change it up. I think they wanted to streamline the story so it's really focused and really straightforward, so that you're not getting sidetracked with all this other stuff. And I kind of understand that, because a lot of new people are coming into this, and for them to talk about like Primus, and them to talk about the 13 primes in a movie, it's might be confusing for people who never seen who don't know the history of Transformers. So I understand kind of why they streamlined everything, and I think they did a good job. But anyway, I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, there's a lot of little characters you can see in the background that they just kind of show in there. They're just kind of there. I know I seen Ironhide. I know I seen Ratchet. I seen Wheeljack. I seen Hound. I seen a couple of. There's just so many. I know I seen RC in there. There's a bunch of them. I got a list here. I think I've put on here. Wheeljack, Ratchet, RC, Ironhide, Jazz. Yeah, Jazz is in there. Well, he's actually named in the thing. But you get to see all this stuff, and I just love the message of the story. It's really good, I think, for kids and for everybody. It's just a positive message, that freedom is important, to keep your freedom and not have like tyranny taking away your freedom, your right to just live and do what you want to do, And I really love that message. So I think this movie is resonating with a lot of people, because everybody loves to be free. We don't like to be censored and shut up and told, that this is told lies all the time by, this evil government that's in this movie. It's, they're just lying to everybody. And it's so cool how they show how different characters react when they find out it's a lie, But anyway, I don't want to go on and on and on. I mean, I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. But I will go to see this one a second time. I really will. I love this movie. I didn't think I would love it. I thought I was kind of like thinking, I want a War for Cybertron movie, like it's more gritty or stuff. But what I didn't realize is I think some of the humor in this movie actually helped the movie a lot, and I didn't really think of that when I was first watching like the first few commercials. I was like, this is kind of too jokey, And then when I seen I think the last commercial or something I seen anyway, it was really kind of it was more serious. Like you can kind of see that there's more serious stuff. And then I heard like one early kind of review. It wasn't really spoilery, but he was just, I kind of trusted him, and he's like saying that this is a really great movie. This is like stunning how great it is. It's actually way better than it should be. And I was like, really? well, maybe they actually did do it right. And so I'm just like, well, I guess I should go see this thing just because I'm a Transformers fan. I really love Transformers. I think out of all the Transformers movies, and this is going to be controversial, I think that this is better than the 86 one. But the 86 one to me is always a nostalgic thing. So that'll always be number 2 on my list of the Transformers movies. Now, but this one definitely is really high because I just love that we're getting so much Transformers and I don't have to worry about this stupid military forces on Earth or whatever, these humans, and we got to take a half an hour out to have them and a bunch of jokes of dumb stuff that's not even important to the story. This one just gets right to the point, and I love that. I wish it was a little longer. I wish they would have changed a few things, but I can understand why they did. But I would definitely say go to see this. Just support this movie, please, because I want Paramount to make more of these this is like a good beginning. They could do a sequel easily now after this, and this is like the perfect beginning. As there's a train going by in the background, I'm sorry, but anyway, so tell me what you think about this in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.